Hello, folks.
Hi there.
It's another episode of Würfelcasts and another installment of my top 100 of all time.
Huzzah.
Yeah, of all my time being in this board game space. 23 edition. I'm sure there will be 24 edition,
Oh, that's a lot
maybe
of
even
additions.
25. Yeah,
Let's see. Let's work on this one first.
true. But yeah, so we had the first 25 games. So just a small comment from you from all the previous games. How do you feel about my list so far? Is
It
it
hasn't been as bad as I was expecting. I
well?
mean, it's amazing.
Oh, because
I don't know why that purple game always ends up showing up, but other than
it's a good
that,
game. You haven't
okay,
played that. You might like
that's
it.
true. I haven't.
So you still might like it. But yeah,
There is a possibility
look.
that I won't ever find out.
Oh, I see. So look. So I was just as I told previously. I didn't even look at my list that much.
Hmm.
But I had to enter numbers, so I basically looked through the games really fast. But
Oh,
my first entry today might disappoint you, but
oh
um,
no.
we have to end on a high note. So my last entry today will be rather pleasing to you. I'm sure of it.
Okay. I'm ready to be disappointed and then pleased.
So let's go to the screen share. Without the further ado, let's just start.
Let's
Because
go.
time is ticking. Anyway, my number 75 is the one and only the game that I bought for the reason to play with a let's say an isolated group of people who all shared the same or almost same passion for the
Oh.
IP, and that's Harry Potter, the Hogwarts Battle game. Or Hogwarts Battle.
Yeah, you enjoy this one consistently. So
Yeah.
that's all I can say.
I mean, look, when I look at this game, when I basically think about deck builders and such, there are better deck builders out there. That's for sure. But
Hmm.
for my top 100, it's more about like fun and all the other aspects of the game that can manipulate it higher to a higher position on my list. So Hogwarts Battle is Harry Potter, and I love Harry Potter. And the first box goes through, I think, 7 like small scenarios. Kinda. Basically, you add some more villains, you add some more cards, and it's just really cool when you buy the cards and you oh, I have the whole family, Weasley family, or now I have Dumbledore. Now I can do some harm to Voldemort, etc. And there are those bad guys and some mechanisms that are added as you play the campaign. um they add some extra cards, some special abilities. The dice, I really like the dice. I just like rolling the dice and see what happens, um to bonuses, etc. So it's just a solid experience from this kind of IP game side. This is the IP game I just like. I wouldn't probably like it if it would be something else, even Avengers or anything like that, because I'm not keen on those other huge IPs. But Harry Potter is this magical world that I'm engaged with. So
All
yeah,
right. Yeah, honestly, I found it to be a fairly mundane deck building game, but I understand that you have had much more adventurous experiences than I have.
yeah. I also think it's about the group of people. If you play right game with right people, it will most likely shine more than usual. You know. So
I
yeah,
guess.
that's it for 75. And bye bye. No, I'm kidding.
All right.
Let's end on a high note. Okay, no, my number
We're just going
74.
to end there. That'll be
Yeah,
a very long list if we do
because
one a week. Uh,
I'm afraid to show you all the other games. No, I'm not. My number 74 has 7 as a number in it, and it's best played as a two-player game because you can only play it as a two-player game, and
okay.
that's 700's Duel.
Yeah, it's a terrible three-player game.
Yeah, it's rather impossible. The rules are missing for 3 players. It's such a bad rule book. No, I'm kidding.
It's very unbalanced.
The third person just moves the marker. Now, look, Seven Wonders. I wasn't keen on Seven Wonders when I played Seven Wonders, the original. I like the drafting. Okay, I'm not a fan of drafting in games, and especially this kind of a your usual normal drafting. This one is drafting from the center pile, and while you're drafting, you're covering cards, so everything is in front of you, all the information for both players. Also, what I didn't like about Seven Wonders is that if you play with a lot of people, you engage with the person on left and on your right. Everybody else, I don't care about. I just don't care what they do. Just don't care what is happening to them because the resource sharing thing is with your neighbors, etc. So it wasn't fun at all. Now this one, as you grab the cards, and it's really fast. It's really easy to understand. You just grab cards. Some cards give you kind of bonuses. Some cards give you opportunity to you can kind of steal or buy resources from your opponent. You're always like you're never blocked from any resource. To be honest, it's just as you have your economy going, and you can win by dragging this war marker to the left or right depending on the player, and some nasty things happen if you drag it to the other end, to the end of your opponent. Some really nasty things happen, so they lose money, etc. And the science victory, which can be really cool if somebody drafts and then you uncover the card and like, oh no, that was the 7th symbol they needed. You have to be
You only need
really careful.
6.
Oh, sorry, 6th symbol. Yeah, I always think 7, 7. Okay, yeah,
There are 7 total, so you need 6 of the
yeah.
7.
So, but anyway, yeah, it's just such an engaging two-player game. It's very tight. It's fast. It just works extremely well, and it's a better game than Seven Wonders.
And it has 2 good expansions.
True. Which I have not played.
Yeah.
To be
The
honest.
first one I like better, but it has so many symbols, and it's difficult to interpret because, of course, the publisher refuses to put words on the cards, and so if you're, it's difficult to teach because people get this secret information, and you just sort of have to hand them the book and say, "Here, find it somewhere in here." The second one is a little bit better in that regard because the amount of secret information you're getting is a lot lower.
Okay, nice. Anyway,
So,
that's how House Duel. Number 74.
very well.
Now for my number 73. Look, this is the game. When I played it, it wasn't that I didn't like it, but I kind of expected more, or I wanted to like it much more than I eventually did. But the more I played it, the more I felt like, okay, I can now, understand why this game is how it is, and it's 73 Tapestry.
Oh, I
So
like Tapestry.
yeah, so Tapestry is not a great game for me, at least. Tapestry is like when I think about a let's say a civilization building game,
Hmm.
Tapestry is very chaotic in that sense, in technology, in like moving tracks. It's very abstract in a sense. You're building those wonders and buildings, but this is basically Tetris. I don't like Tetris in my games, so that's why I don't like this Tetris, pattern building thing at all. But I do like how fast it is, how fast are the turns. You are uh, just moving up the track and then doing what it says. Next turn, a little bit of the dairy control there. Okay, yeah, happens. But overly, it's not a complicated game for such a. It feels like a bigger game, but the rule book is like, I don't know, 5 pages, four. I don't know. It's very small rule book. So I like it, and I can look past maybe some imbalances with the factions because there are so many cool factions. I like this idea of factions not being Egypt and Rome and
True.
Carthaginians, and then it's architects or whatever, or maybe I don't know, space people or whoever there were, visionaries.
There, there are
I
some space people in the first expansion.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly what all of these factions are called, but basically these are like group of people who, like, those are farmers, and those are scientists, etc. It's on a more abstract side. So yeah,
Hmm.
Tapestry is still a good game.
It
If it
is.
would
It's
have had
definitely.
a technology tree that it's not as abstract and as random. I mean, in the sense that you build things because of the symbols and icons, not because it's a technology tree that you move up on. It's just, it doesn't feel like that. It doesn't feel like traditional technology tree, which I love in civilization games as technology tree. I learned horseback riding. Now it expands into three more technologies, etc. So
But no, to be fair, look at that picture. I mean, clearly batteries will give you 4 points. Um,
yes,
that makes a lot of sense that batteries would give you 4 points as their effect.
true,
Um,
true, and you can totally create zeppelins before riding. That's who needs riding when you can ride zeppelin. Okay,
I mean,
just
we
don't
don't
name it
really use
zeppelin.
them anymore. Um,
You can talk. You don't have to write. Yeah.
so yeah, I like Tapestry a lot. I like it more than you do. I have not played with its third expansion, although looking at what's in the third expansion, it's just some more stuff. It doesn't look like it's adding any new rules. It's not added that another extra track like the second one did, but it's one that's consistently good, and one that I'm always looking forward to playing.
Yeah, and I think that uh, adding too many new rules will not benefit Tapestry, as it
Oh, it
has to be
doesn't.
this
No,
easygoing, big but easygoing. It's not a complicated, but it's kind of complex game. You have to think about many different parts. Yeah.
sure.
All right. So my number 72. Let's go um, to back many years when I discovered this game and it felt so great. And then if you add the expansion, it's even better. It's just chucking dice and fighting each other as monsters. That's 72 King of Tokyo.
Hmm.
Oh, that's some lag here. But King of Tokyo is um there's like new editions, etc. But King of Tokyo has always been this um, easygoing. Just pull it out, explain how these symbols work. So with this one you heal, with this one you can get energy, with this one get three in a row you get points, etc. The numbers. So that's an easy part, and you can fight, etc. This just a um, simple dice mechanism. Roll, re-roll, keep, etc. The only part that kept it from being um, very easy to teach, or let's say to track for new players, were the cards, because there are so many cards and there's sometimes quite a lot of text in the cards, and it's not hard. But the thing is that with some players which I fought, like, they're not board gamers, and
Hmm.
they're not casual gamers. They just they're playing their first board game after Monopoly or something like that, or Uno, and the cards could be a little bit messy for them. But once they get through it, it's a very easy game. Chuck your dice, kill each other, or win by points. But mostly we just like to kill each other. So King of
Oh,
Tokyo,
well, that's nice.
yeah,
Yeah, it's a fun romp. Um, it ends up maybe being look. I still have several versions of King of Tokyo. I still like it. I think it still does a lot, but I don't play it as often as I did when it first came out, and that's because it's not great at lower player counts.
True.
It's like a two-player King of Tokyo is a mediocre experience at best.
No, you
Um,
don't play it.
well,
Two player.
exactly, and that's why it doesn't get played as much because, of course, two-player is my favorite game. Is my favorite count. But
Yeah.
but it's and then when I have more people, usually they're a little more advanced and think King of Tokyo is too simple. So I don't know. I still enjoy it. I think it still is a great game. I just don't get to play it as much anymore.
True. And if you add the expansion, it has a little bit more stuff in there, personal abilities and I thought about like putting King of Tokyo slash King of New York because I cannot really separate them. I know they are
So
different games, but
I can
to be
help you.
honest,
King of Tokyo is in Tokyo, and King of New York is in New York.
oh, okay,
Those are
let's go to the
two
next number.
different locations geographically.
But I mean, being like King of New York was kind of a advanced version of King of Tokyo where you can move on the board and destroy buildings, but it didn't need to be that. I mean, like King of New York, I think failed. Yeah.
Well, it was not as successful, although I do like it better.
Okay. All right. Let's get to the next pick, which I love this game. It's
Uh,
not very high on my list because um, I like to play it on occasions. I rate it very high. Based on my rating, it should be higher on my list. But I sometimes rate games in a sense of amongst the genre of all those games.
oh.
How much do I like it? Because sometimes like you cannot compare if you start comparing a small card game to a huge I don't know, miniatures game with campaign, etc. It's really not fair. So number 71 is Dice Stars, which I rate very high. It's 9 out of 10 for me, but based on the overall thing, I like to play it occasionally. Now look, I've tried many different roll and write games.
Not
What
as
Dice
many as I
Stars,
have.
I know. Yeah, at some point I just didn't want to. But what Dice
Mhm.
Stars does, it just um it's simple enough, but yet it's engaging because the thing is that you draw the dice from the bag. They have different colors, and you know how many dice of each color there are. You can kind of anticipate stuff. And when you roll the dice, you have to take either all of the same number or all of the same color and then mark it down if you are able to. If you're not, you cannot take that combination. And the thing is, the
Mhm.
dice you don't take, they stay on the board. So another player, they can choose if they draw one, two, or three dice, and they will choose it based on like, okay, they see that they only have space for three orange dice in total to place down. If they have the fourth, then that's bad. So they're like, okay, so I'm gonna draw less dice from the bag. But if I draw less, then at the same time I might not get orange at all. It's this engaging thinking and there's strategy there. There's tactics there. It's just
Mhm.
simple, but it has so many cool decisions. And I played with many different people. Everybody liked it because it's simple but thinking at the same time. And it's not like you have a huge board and then you have to mark down this symbol and that symbol and then you have thousands and thousands symbols of information. It's simple. Column or row, you know? Pick your dice, pick your poison.
I mean, it's a fine game. I don't understand. Well, for me, I don't know that it was very memorable, but I enjoyed it for several rounds. I had a good time with it.
Cool.
I just don't know that it ever comes out again. Even among my friends who love this type of game, I
Yeah.
think it didn't stand out.
It just hasn't failed me, let's say.
I'm glad.
All right. So my number 70 is the game that I rated very highly a few years ago. But as the time goes by, this design isn't as cool. I mean, it's getting old, and I think this game needs a new edition, reworking it
Hmm.
into the full co-op, forgetting this traitorous mechanism, and that's number 70, Dead of Winter.
Ah.
Now, what Dead of Winter does greatly, it has this crossroads mechanism. But when it works, it's amazing. You pull out those cards, you make those decisions. It's simple. You go here, you fight the zombie. You have your action points. You have you roll the dice, and that's what you can do basically. Yeah, there's a little bit of that randomness in it. You have your own secret objective. You have to collect all of those stuff and help the group win the game. Then you will win as well. There's kind of this moral win that even if you don't achieve your objective, then I'm always proud to help the group win the game if I'm not the traitor. But now the traitor is something that really doesn't help the game here, because depending on the goals on the event, the event that you pull out, and then we have to collect food now. Depending on all of those, the traitor can be totally broken, and your goals can be unreachable. So sometimes you get this cool experience, and sometimes you get bad experience. I like going into those locations and searching for the cards. This is this is great. I love it. I like how zombies are just a nuisance, flies that you try to just kill. It's like, okay, so I killed the zombie. You don't have to roll 10 dice and see how many successes you get. That's it. And that you don't control just one character, you can control several characters. It's all great, but just it needs to working into the full co-op where the crossroads um, work, or they activate more. There
Mm.
there are more crossroads. Like there's one other game in that line of games, let's say, that does it much better, just does it much better. And then there's another game which has some hidden roles and things that's overly better than the winter. So that's why it's only at 70. But still, I just
Okay.
love the whole premise of Dead of Winter, and I would still
Yeah.
play it.
You would what?
I would still play it. Yeah.
Yeah, I would too. Actually, I really enjoyed Dead of Winter when it first came out. It was a really big hit for me,
Yes.
and I would go back and play it. I actually enjoy the trader version. I find that to be a rather thrilling experience. I haven't played with some of its many expansions, there weren't that many, but there were too many, maybe.
I played Long
Uh,
Night. Yeah.
well, and I played with some of Long Night, but I don't know if that I played with all of Long Night because there were
I don't know as well.
those like extra zombies and taking a
Oh yeah, I played with
pill,
those. Yeah.
and I don't know that I played with all of those, and I know I never played with Warring Colonies because what you definitely don't need is for Dead of Winter to be a 9-player expansion. Um, but hey, it's a good.
Yeah.
I like this one.
Yeah.
I think I'm looking to get it played again at some point.
New edition, Planet Games, please. You pull out, but I mean it's probably Asmodee's.
It
Probably not.
probably is, and the designer doesn't work exclusively with Plaid Hat anymore.
Yeah.
And I think we've probably done Dead of Winter to death. I think let's let those zombies rest because there was a time when that was all Plaid Hat was doing was Dead of Winter stuff, and I don't know that we need to go back to those days.
Yeah, there are those new games, because those games coming out, not
It's
the Gen
true.
7, which I
Well,
think are
Gen
probably.
7 was came out a long time ago and was not a big success. But then there's the pirate one, and then there's the new one. I forget
Oh,
their
I'm
name,
excited
but
about the new one.
the
Yeah,
dungeoning one. Yeah.
because it adds extra, and I don't know. Anyway, yeah,
Yep.
that was Dead Winter. It's number 70. Number 69 is another dice game, but it's as I would say, reimplementation of the card game, and I just like I like the mechanism of anticipation. Like, I'm trying to figure out what will others choose, so I don't have to choose it. But like, if one person chooses it, then everybody does that action. But I do my leader stuff if I do this. So number 69 is roll for the galaxy.
Oh,
I like this. I like this mechanism
okay.
of choosing the right actions, and then putting the dice on those cards. Trying to achieve. I don't remember exactly what was it all called. It's just really cool. You roll the dice, you activate them, you assign them. It's really fast. You don't have to think too much. As a two-play game, it can be 40 minutes, something like that, 30, 40 minutes. You can go really fast if you're not overthinking. And chucking the dice in the cup, just feels good. It just, it's a combo game with leader action and follow-up actions. Yeah.
That's true. All of those are true statements. I enjoy this. It was never as big a success for me as its predecessor game, although I will acknowledge that this one is much easier to teach and come into than Race for the Galaxy was.
And I'll say it. So, so the Beyond the Sun that Rio Grande Games pulled out is not a great. Let's say most of their games, the artwork, the production is on a bad side, if you to say at least. But this is the only game where I say yes, they did a good job producing this game.
Well, I was worried the dice would wear over time, but then I never played it enough to make that be a problem. But yeah, I don't know. It's a good choice. This one's fair. I think the game's unfortunately or fortunately or however you want to think of it, probably dead. But it was a good one. I wish I had gotten more into it. Probably.
All right. Yeah, I kind of wish I mean, I'm thinking about maybe I will get it back into my collection
Hmm.
someday because it's just so easygoing and it's kind of. I know people who will just love it. Yeah,
Great.
love to play with me, and I like to play games. If you
Oh,
didn't, yeah.
I hate it. I don't know what I'm doing here.
Anyway, my number 68 is the game that I avoided for many years. I don't know for what reason. It just felt childish. I was like, okay, whatever. And then the second edition came up, and it was more beautiful. The components were more sturdy. So it's like, okay, I need some kind of a family plus games. I need some games that I can play with whoever. Just teach them. Just I can manage. All the information is open. It's not hard to manage if you don't have any closed information. In players struggle. Okay, what should I do on this or that turn? I'm like, okay, so do this, do that, do that. So everything is open. Anyway, number 68 is Camel Up, second edition.
Ah. Okay.
Or Camel Cup. No, I'm kidding. Camel Up. So Camel Up second edition, you can see the cover is great. The components are great. So the pyramid is plastic now. I heard that
Thank
the cardboard
heavens.
pyramid wasn't the best, but it's
Look, it worked. I played probably 30 games of old Camel Up with that cardboard pyramid, and it was showing its wear, but it worked. It just, plastic is much more durable.
yeah. But anyway, so with Camel Up, I probably skipped it also because I thought of it as a race game, but it's actually not a race game. It's
No.
no, the race is the theme
The
of the
race is
game. Like what you
happening.
do, you're betting. You're betting on those camels. You're taking those tiles. You're trying to predict the overall winner or loser, which I like because you can do the winner and the loser and score points from both. and then you chuck dice, and then you pull the die out and see how many spaces one or other camel goes, and then they hop on each other, and then they carry each other accidentally, and then there's some black and white camels that carry them backwards and whatever, and or so it's just so easygoing that on your turn choose one thing. So put a card down here, take this tile, or put this extra movement tile on the board, or roll a die. That's it, and see what happens. I know it's for some people there is not much control there because it's kind of random, but it's just fun.
There's no control.
It's random
but
and fun.
Yes.
I mean, you control what you do on your turn, but
it is a wild and crazy game, and it needs to be played with that spirit. And people who want to play a Euro game probably won't enjoy it.
That's where I feel I like at some point I was visiting the I know it was like a property and for it's rented apartments, but for the foreigners. So when they come here for I don't know, for study or for the work, part time, anything like that. So there were a group of people who were from all the different sides of the world, and they asked me that I could do the game nights and teach them games, and I bought Camel Up, and it worked really well. They really liked Camel Up. I showed them some other games that will be on my list. So, but I showed them several games, but this is the one that just worked with them. They haven't played games before. Maybe some of them did play some or role player games, something like that. But yeah, it just worked with them, and that's the right crowd, because they went from Monopoly, where they roll the dice and basically move around, to here, where they roll the dice and things move around. That's it. You kind of connect those two, so it's like Monopoly, but try it. It's really cool.
Yeah. All right, there you go.
All right, my number 67 is a small card game of a bigger game that I love. We might be talking about the big game later on this list. Not on this particular list, but on my top 100. But yeah, 67 is Conspiracy Abyss Universe, and I don't like the name.
No, it's terrible.
Conspiracy Abyss Universe. I mean, they could not name it Abyss card game, because Abyss is a card game. So that would be weird. Abyss card game.
Yeah.
So anyway, so Abyss. I always want to say Abyss Conspiracy, but Conspiracy Abyss Universe is it's kind of like it's a different game, but it's kind of like a reimplementation. You can see the same vibe going on with Abyss. You're trying to collect the cards, put them in a pyramid-like thing, the upside-down pyramid, and they give you keys, they give you pearls. You want to collect the same colors in the same kind of a connected row or column, connected group, etc. I like the idea how it's the same as with the Abyss. If you want to choose something, you can choose more. You can take more and choose from more stuff, but then the rest of it that you didn't choose will end up being on the board for everyone to see, and they might get the right stuff. I like it's the same here. Yeah, you take 3 cards, you take up to 3 cards. If you take 3 cards, you can only choose one for yourself, but the rest goes into the middle pile. And the other thing is that the colors, they stack in that draft zone. So you might be creating quite a nice pile of, let's say, red cards for your opponent. They're like, okay, I'm going to take all of them, I like this idea. And, going in pearls back and forth, it's very easy going. It takes more space on the table that I would want it to take, because for such a small game, it takes quite a lot of space. If, let's say, 4 players play this game, you can see all of those cards. Like 4 pyramids is, quite a lot of space. But yeah, It just works as a little easygoing abyss-like experience.
I can't say anything about this. I haven't played it. It didn't look all that amazing, but
You should
uh,
try it.
maybe someday, right? There's always a possibility.
Yeah. All right. So let's go to number 66. My number 66 is another Civilization game. I love like me some Civilization games.
You do.
This one is kind of different though, and the rulebook was terrible. I think this game suffered because of the rulebook and because of the bad distribution, or lack of distribution whatsoever.
Uh
But what it did so differently as a Civilization
oh.
game. That's 66 patch history.
Ah.
And you are actually patching the history. You are putting the cards, and they have all those different sides, and you are kind of you can partly cover the cards so the other sides are visible. You're trying to get the right stuff visible so you have all those resources. One other thing which was a little bit complicated is your resource management, where you are tracking all your resources, and because there are like 7 of those.
Did you leave me? I think maybe you have left me. So patch history, though, making up for
That I accidentally.
click the wrong button. There you did.
Yes.
We
All
don't
right.
see
So
patch history, but we didn't see you either.
yeah. Anyway, you hear me now? Everything's good? Yes.
I do.
All right. All right. I'm sorry. Anyway, yeah. Well, I was talking about patches. I was so passionate that I clicked the wrong button.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, so yeah, I like that, and I like how there are those wonders and great people who cover the whole thing, and you cannot cover them up eventually, and you have to be very precise of how you patch up your kingdom or whatever, your nation. The bidding I liked everything about this game, but it at some point it felt a little bit raw. It felt a little bit, unpatched. It should be patched, like with video games.
Mm-hmm.
So if there would be a new edition coming out, uh, maybe a little bit more streamlined, or with some better resource tracking, as I said, as I wanted to say, and then I
Then
left.
you left.
Left
You were
the
so
resource tracking. There are
passionate about
seven.
patch
There are
history.
7. Yeah, there are 7 resources, and you constantly track them. And because it's all over the board, you're like, okay, so now as I covered it, I'm minus 2 coins, but I'm plus 2 wheat. Oh, and then you're like, and then you accidentally sweep your hand on this resource board, and you're like, okay, so I now have to count the resources. You can always count them, but the thing is that it's just 7 resources on the same board that you have to track constantly, back and forth, back and forth. Not great, but the overall game is great. I really like it. Yeah.
Yeah, I this is one that I really was excited about, but it never ended up going anywhere for me. I think I need to get it out, figure out how to play it again because it was a rough rule book.
It
Maybe the
was.
next time I have a visitor from Korea, this might be a good
Or
one
from
to
Estonia.
play.
Maybe we'll play it on the
Well,
cruise.
true.
I mean, I
No,
mean, uh, I'm not sure it's there, but maybe you can take the copy with you, because I think there
well,
are several people who would be interested in trying this one anyway. And if the
the
new edition
Korean
comes out,
comment was more because I think it's from Korea, the game.
yeah, true,
But
yeah. But I mean, if the new edition comes out more streamlined, reworked, I will probably buy it.
I don't think it will. But hey, we can always we can always see.
There are some games that come out of the dead constantly, so I'm not. I'm never sure if the game is dead,
That's true.
DED,
You're
or
right.
or comes out again.
You're right. Anything. Well, I won't use the term Victor would use, but anything can happen.
Look, in 20 years, we can propose this game to Restoration Games. Then in 20 years, it has become a retro games.
That's true.
Anyway, yeah. Let's get to the next one. So my number 65 is near and dear to my heart. I don't play it anymore, but I've played it a ton. And every time I think about it, I would like to play it again because it was an adventure. It's an adventure game. It stays true to its world. It has the great story, and it had those expansions and stories going on further. Mice and Mystics, my number 65. It's
uh,
just, and I know. Some people say, okay, so as a dungeon crawler game, there are so many better ones. True. The rule book, is it great? Not. And you're chucking dice, and it's quite difficult, to be honest. But what it did, it created the world. You wanted to be in that world. I didn't call my players by their usual names. I was like, okay, Hilda, you go. Okay, Colin, you go. It's like I was so engaged in the theme. And your mice trapped in a cell by a evil queen who and Colin is the prince, and their dad, the evil queen, seduced the dad and whatever. It's like, and now you are, and the magician. I don't remember what was magician's name, but the mystic or whatever. They turned everybody, a group of 4 mice, into those little mice. 4 mice, for people, into mice. And now you escape through the dungeon. Now you fighting rats and cockroaches and even a cat. You're trying to escape the cat, and there's a cool mechanism of cat, slamming the paw on the table, and how you can sometimes, like, you can use a fork. So there's like a fork lying on the floor, and you can use a spoon or a fork, whatever, to catapult another mouse to the table, so they can use this thing to pull down the rope, whatever. There are so many thematic things that it's when you look at it, it's 2D, it's stale, but yeah, it's really cool. You have your abilities, you have your cards, and you're getting new cards, and you're just going through the story, and the story is very good, very good. It's an amazing
sure.
story, and it's difficult.
Yeah.
So we had a little bit of that. So when I played it, we had a small kind of a house rule thing going on with the cheese wheel. I don't remember exactly how it worked, but we were like, we're not gonna do this thing because we just want to go through the story and not, be killed all the time. So you can house rule some things to make it less difficult. You're not really, it's not like changing the game. It was like, just, when this one happens, we do less of that stuff, so it's not as difficult. So, but yeah.
Some people call it house ruling. Some people call it cheating. But but either way, it's a good game. It's a fun one that I enjoyed. I had a good time working through. I've played through. I don't think I ever played all the way through the Downward Tales expansion, but I played through the other two. It's a fine game. If I had young children, it would be a major hit still.
True.
Unfortunately, my friends do not like cooperative games. So, but
Oh, those cockroaches. All right.
they're in there.
Number 64 is another small game that I've not played in a long time, and I gave my copy to my friend who also really loved the game, and it's I was, at least in Estonia, it's really hard to get. I don't know,
Okay.
it's probably out of print anyway.
Oh,
But this card game, I played with that person a ton throughout different summers, and oh, it's just, I played it like more than 100 times, most likely. I don't know, just played it and played it. That's Red 7, number 64. Red 7 is
hmm.
a yeah, Red 7 is a small but very smart card game. So yeah, you have your numbers and colors, but each color represents a rule as well. And you're trying each turn, you're playing cards, trying to create the situation where you are in a winning position based on the rule in the center. You can change the rule and you can put the cards in your palette, as they say, you know, creating the column of cards. And you're trying to change the rule so or create a position where you are winning at
Mm-hmm.
this point, and then turn goes to the next person. They have to now recreate position to make them be on top and be winning that round. You're constantly searching for that wins, and then eventually, if you are out of cards and you cannot play anymore, or you cannot create the situation where you are the winner, you're out of the game. And it kind of is like a elimination. But if you play it even 3 or 4 players, um, you don't have to wait too long. It's such a simple and quick game. But I love to
Mm-hmm.
play it with 2 players. So if another person wins, we just start over. And
I mean,
we
because the game's
played
done.
it. Yeah, we played it many times in a row. I just love the smart play of the colors being rules, and the numbers and the colors are also being if there is such picture, yeah, they also have this high or low, what do you call it, the mm,
Ranking.
like ranking. Yeah, so the red is the most important. So if there are two numbers, let's say there is a red 6 and an orange 6, so the red 6 is
Mm-hmm.
higher than orange 6. So you have those three things you can manipulate with to win your round, and it just works so well. That's red 7.
Yeah, and I'm not a huge fan of this game. I've played it several times. I've had at best a mediocre experience with it. It did not click for me. It just was maybe too simple, maybe too short. I don't know what it was. It's just I've never really had a great game of Red 7.
And I had at least 100.
100.
Yeah, at least 100 great games of red 7.
Mm-hmm. All right.
All right.
You can live
Anyway,
your truth.
my number 63 is a game where at first you might think it's a Tetris like game, but it's really not. You are
Oh,
kind of building up things, but it's a free roam. It's built however you want because you can because it's crazy, and it's Castles of Mad King Ludwig, the crazy king. So
okay.
Of Mad King Ludwig is such an engaging game.
It
So
is.
look, first I tried the Suburbia, and I'm not fan of Suburbia for whatever reason. I don't remember exactly anymore because I played it in years. But Castle King Ludwig did something differently for me. First of all, I like to build the different rooms, how they connect, and then they kind of benefit from each other. And you're trying to create this kind of a small chain reaction and put the rooms as best as you can, put all the rooms as best you can. There's this mechanism of bidding where there's a master builder who sets the prices for different rooms, and you have to be precise. So because if you're setting a price for a certain room too high, nobody will buy this room and you are out of money. So the economy is very closed. The money goes back and forth from others to you, and then from you to others. And each time you're a master builder, you're trying to get the most money so you can then build through other players' turns. Yeah, and just it just works, and you create those castles with basements and those rooms and special bonuses that you get when you close all the doors of that particular room. I don't know. It expands like crazy. Just a great building game with the bidding mechanism. I just I mean, it's not bidding. Basically, it's a marketplace mechanism where
There you
you
go.
are
That's more what
setting.
it is.
Yeah. You're setting prices, and then other people are buying or not. Or taking
Yeah.
stairs. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we still get money for stairs, right? Um, yeah, I enjoy this one. I have the extra super large deluxe edition upstairs that I really enjoy, and that caused me to part with my classic edition. But that's okay; it's the same game.
That's
Well done,
what I wanted from you.
enjoyable.
Yeah,
Did you end up taking it, or maybe Victor did? I
I
can't
didn't.
remember.
I didn't have
Somebody took
room
it.
for it. I didn't have room
No,
for it, sadly. So
somebody took it because I don't need two copies of the same game.
yeah,
Um, did you
because I
play
wanted to
the
do that.
extra super deluxe one, or
No,
oh, it's the same game. It's just bigger
yeah. So
and has
who
an
cares?
annoying scoreboard.
All right.
Anyway,
So, yeah. My number 62 is another small game and a party game that worked really well with many groups of people that I played with, non gamers and gamers alike. It's Insider. And Insider
ah,
is yeah, extremely simple game.
this is one
I
I
think
introduced you to.
you did. You sure?
Yes,
I didn't play it with you.
you did at the very first board game camp because I brought it.
Did I? Okay. I don't know.
Yeah.
I remember
Do you need me
Burgle
to check
Brothers,
my
but I didn't
record?
remember.
Um,
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I don't remember. Anyway, the thing is that you have those roles. One of you is insider, and these are hidden roles. The master is an open information, and so one of you is insider, and insider tries to help the group, the common folks, to
mhm.
guess the word, but stay hidden in the process. So they will not vote them out, and so they will win the game alone. Or if the group of people find out who is insider, then they win the game with the master. And it's a word guessing game. So the
Mhm.
master looks at the word, and then you like, okay, it's soap, yeah, whatever. And
It's
this kind
so.
of a yeah, it's werewolf thing where you close your eyes and blah blah blah, a little bit of that going on, and then everybody starts asking questions, and you can answer yes or no. So you have to be precise with your questions, and then eventually somebody says, "Oh, it's a soap." Yeah, okay, yeah, that's right. And then you start wondering, like, "Oh, that person, they guessed the word. Did they guess the word because they are insider? Because the insider knows the word from the start as well." That's the thing. It's it's,
Mhm.
it's like a traitor, but he tries to help you. But like, okay, so did they guess the word because they knew about it, or just came to a conclusion, logical conclusion that it's soap? Um, so yeah, it's just fun, and you play it in
But
like 6 minutes. You play it again,
I will point
again.
out that you're playing the game wrong because in this case the word is towel.
I know, I know. I'm just saying, for example, soap, but yeah, it's based on the number. Yeah, yeah. But
If
anyway,
you're playing with the wrong rules, then it makes it's a challenge variant. Where
yeah,
the insider thinks it's a different rule, a
yeah,
different
yeah.
word.
What do I like about Insider is that we usually the first questions. I don't know why amongst our group. The very first question is always, "Is it bigger than this table?" Like we play on a table, and they're like, "Is it the first question? Is it bigger than this table?" Yes. I'm like, why do you ask the same question all the time? And for some reason, it's always this question first, and then everything else.
Okay. Well, there you
Yeah.
go. Yeah, different groups will have that.
Anyway, Insider, my number 62.
There you go.
All right, let's go to number 61. My number 61 is another party type game experience. It's a cooperative game. It's a beautiful game. It's the game where you are silently cursing players, investigators, as a ghost, and the investigators are loudly cursing ghost as a bad communicator, and that's Mysterium.
Mm.
Yeah, because it's a Dixit like game where uh, you are giving. So one of you is a ghost, and you know the different scenes, like the murder weapon, the murder location, and the person. And there are those choices on the board as well that you choose from, and you give clues. Those Dixit, those crazy cards, you give them to the players so they can try to guess what is their location, what is their weapon,
Hmm.
and then eventually get to the final round where you have to guess the overall killer and the location and the weapon. And those really cool cards, which are like dreams, you're trying to give hints to your to your co-fellows by like you're trying to figure out, okay, so will they understand that I'm trying to hint on the color, and here I'm trying to hint on the scene. It's like there's rain going, so rain, water, so I'm trying to hint that the killer location is bathtub, whatever. It's constantly thinking about there's a ghost, and then everybody else around you is like, oh, such a stupid clue. What does he mean by that clue? And then they're like, at first, when I played with the group of people when they played for the first time, and I'd say I was a ghost, I'm like, it's not logical, the hints you're giving. I'm like, okay, so now you'll be the ghost. Show me how it's done. And then they give hints, and their logic is off spec. Their logic is something from another universe. And they're like, so I just hinted on this because you can see the shade on this mountain. You can see this the small bird there. This bird represents an egg, and yeah, that's what the egg is when you fry an egg. It's in the kitchen, so I wanted to show you that it's a kitchen. Like, okay, nah, how does that logic work? Okay, anyway, so but it creates stories.
Okay.
Creates stories. So these are fun stories. So anyway, Mystery,
Are they though? They're
Mysterium is.
fun. They're fun in the moment. They're not that great in the retelling.
I mean, like, okay, they're fun moments. Okay, yeah. Anyway, Mysterium, my number 61, is it? Yeah.
So I'm a little surprised that I for some reason I had it in my mind that you liked Obscurio more than Mysterium, but I guess you don't.
I had Obscuria before. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
a
don't
little
know.
bit
I
lower
just,
on
I
the list.
just, I just somehow I just
Maybe.
rated them, and
Whatever.
then they ended up like that. It's probably look at some points. I didn't play either Mysterium or Obscurio, but sometimes I just want to play Mysterium, and
Very
sometimes I
well.
just want to play Obscurio.
No,
Might be
no
different
problem.
next
They're
time.
both good games.
Yeah. All right.
Very well.
Let's get to number 60. My number 60 is a game that came in this huge deluxe box I got because I got it from Kickstarter. And it had great components, great production, great artwork. The game was very simple, though. It was kind of too simple for the production and production value that it had. And that's Tidal Blades Heroes of the Reef, which I want to say is not a bad thing because I really love the production, and sometimes the production really adds to me enjoying the game. The artwork really adds to me enjoying the game. This is a worker placement game uh, with the dice, and what you're trying to do. You're doing your own usual worker placement business. Collecting resources, collecting some cards, etc. And then you are doing challenges. And for the challenges, you need to collect the dice. And the challenges are basically you're putting out the cards, and they have symbols. You have to match the symbols on the cards. And if you match those symbols become your skills that you add on your player board. Eventually, for you to be able to roll more dice, re-roll whatever, to have more special abilities as cards, etc. So to get more points at the end of the game eventually. So you are using those dice to do the challenges, and then you can also upgrade your dice to a higher value. So like the simple white dice, they have few symbols, and if you go
Hmm.
all the way to those black ones, they have a ton of symbols. You have much more probability to hit the target, something like that, or even have double symbols, etc. And you're also fighting off the monsters of the reef that come out. They can basically um, they can do harm to everybody, but if you kill it, you get quite a cool reward. Overly, it's such a simple game, but the production value and the art is great. And I would have loved for it to have more meat in it on
Yeah.
it, and
Yeah.
probably with the expansion or something like that. But because there's the Angler's Cove expansion, that's something. But I wanted to add
It added
much
one
more.
board.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So yeah. Anyway, but still, I really enjoyed the game. Maybe for the whole package. Maybe probably because it's the whole package that I was engaged with. And
Hmm.
the Luxified edition was really cool looking.
In our very unusually shaped box. Well, I guess it's not an unusual shape, but it's like really this long, thin box. That was
You
that was a
couldn't fit it. You
disappointment.
couldn't fit it on your shelf. Calyx
Can't fit it
shelf,
anywhere.
goodbye.
Well,
On the floor.
yeah. Anyway, I'm not the biggest fan of this game. I've This is one of the few games that the more I've played, the less I've enjoyed. So I was really excited about it at the beginning. I had a great first play, and then it's been like, the first one was here, the second one was here, and then it's just kind of gone down from there. I don't know that
It might be going down for me
if
as well.
somebody were to break in, and I don't want somebody to break into my house and steal, but if somebody were to break in and steal my copy, I wouldn't be sad.
But I mean, for me, it's going down as well. It was, I think, higher a few years ago on my list.
Okay.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. It's just it's the same. Maybe it will be out of my list eventually, but I still really enjoy it. I have fond memories of this game.
All right. Very well.
All right, my number 59 is another game which I would have loved to get the expansion, but I didn't want to pay the price of a base game for the expansion.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, then I don't want it. But even without the expansion, it's a very cool game, and I really enjoyed it. That's Dinosaur Island. But Dinosaur Island itself is a rather expensive game. But like,
Okay.
if you buy the expansion was like $60 or something like that. I'm like, okay, I'm not buying a
Oh,
$6 expansion. Come on, no
it's
way.
such a good expansion.
But I don't care. Make it less expensive. Make it 40 or something like that. It's no. But yeah, Oberre. This is
Ooh, look
this
at those
is
colors.
this, yeah. At first, I wasn't fond
And they
of
picked that tabletop mat with those colors.
yeah purple, more purple. No, I was so this game was on sale. I got it for like 40 or 40 euros or something like that, which is not bad.
40 or 40.
40, 40, 45, I want to say.
Oh,
But yeah,
okay.
it's a dinosaur park building game where you are, getting new dinosaurs, new DNAs. You
Uh-huh.
are using the resources, and um, you basically invite people in there, and there's some dogs that go and fill up all your places before normal people can get those
Hooligans,
places.
not
But then they
thugs.
get eaten. But then they get eaten as well if your
They
security
do.
is not high enough. Yeah. So yeah, I like this whole idea. I like this whole premise. There's a lot going on. It's a worker placement game, and how you can get the new recipes, kind of basically new DNAs of the dinosaurs, and then place them on there. And I like how when you get a certain thing, then you can get a card or whatever, the candy stand, or a worker spot, a new worker spot, etc. Just everything is everything works well. Everything is quite engaging. Dinosaur Island, I really enjoyed my plays.
I love Dinosaur Island. I like it actually, I think, better than its. Many people prefer Dinosaur World. I think they're both great games, but Dinosaur Island's really where it is at, especially with that expansion, which adds so much to the game and sort of just brings everything around, gives you more options, lots of different things to focus on. I look, this game's always a hit for me,
Right.
as long as you have a huge table.
Yes. Huge.
Huge
All right.
table.
My number 58 is a much smaller game. You don't need to have a huge table. And it comes packaged in this tower-like smaller box, and but it has really cool components. And that's 58 Onitama.
Oh, okay.
Onitama is yeah. Onitama is like I don't have many two-player games. I think I only do I have two-player games, only this one. I think I might have only this one as a true two-player game, only two-player game. Because I just don't play two players, or if I play two players, I play some other games that work well with two or three or four.
Like Seven Wonders Duel.
Yeah, some bigger, some bigger Euro games, some of that. But this one, Onitama, what it does well is like with other abstract games. I mean, okay, chess is probably more complicated, but it's something in between chess and Go. It's like Go as well. The rules, there's two or three rules or whatever, but it's such a smart game. With this one as well, it's like two rules. I don't remember, but very few rules. And yeah, but it's very smart. You're using the cards, and you only use 5 cards during the game to move your pieces and your students and your master. You're trying to get the master to the other side of the temple, or to eat, defeat another
There
player's
you go.
master. And I like the idea how if you use a card, then in 2 turns your opponent will be able to use it. That's such a great idea, because you're trying to constantly look at, and these are like basically shapes. It's how you can move the pieces, and you choose what to move. And like, okay, so if I use this card right now, in 2 turns, my opponent will win, because they will be able to use this one here to move diagonally and defeat my master over here, or move to my temple. So it's such a simple yet engaging game. It just works. I even played it on the beach, because this is it the foam, not the foam. It's neoprene mat. It's just few cards and those. It's a plastic, but it's like a resin type plastic pieces. So really sturdy, really cool looking Onitama.
Yeah, it's a good game. I like it. I like it with some of it. It has 2 or 3 expansions, 2 I know of, that were kind of weird expansions.
I've never got to them. I've never got to. I heard about them, and I was like, okay, so there's hidden movement thing. I'm not keen on that. I
Yeah.
want Onitama to be simple. That they pull out. I'll tell you how the game works in 2 sentences. We're going. Good.
Yeah, the first, I think there might have been another one that was just a pack of extra cards, and that obviously is a good thing for the game. But the other 2, there was one about like a water figure moving around and one about hidden movement. Neither of those was a huge hit for me.
Okay. All right. Anyway, let's go to number 57. My number 57 is a game from designer that I do want to play his games. I just don't want. I look at those games like, no. But this one
Uh-oh.
sounded different. I liked the theme. And I was like, okay, I'm going to get this game. And when I played this game, I enjoyed it. And many, not many, but quite a few probably loud Fister fans said, oh, this is not a good game. It's not your usual Fister. The Fister must be crunchy and blah, blah, blah. But anyway, Cloud Age, my number 57, is
Mm.
the Fister I like.
I'd be careful about the use of that phrase.
Yes, I heard that. I heard it in my head. It's the Alexander Pfister.
There you go.
Pfister, I like. Anyway, this is such an engaging game. I mean, it's it's a Euro game. It's dry in some aspects of it, but I like the idea you're moving with your Zeppelin, and you don't have to roll the dice or do anything like that. It's kind of deterministic. It's like you have that power, you control that city. That's it. You're trying to get water as a resource. You're trying to get other resources as well. You're creating tableau of cards which give you benefits. You're trying to upgrade your ship, which will give you benefits and points in the game, extra speed and thing. I like the idea of you pulling out 2 cards from your deck, and there's the lower number and the higher number, and you do stuff based on whatever is the lower and whatever is the higher number. You get some like resources as a lower number, I think, and the speed is higher number, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. I think so.
That.
I think that's how it goes. Yeah, that's one I always look up to.
Yeah, and then you can put your put your tokens on these cloud cards, and you can see they're partly covered. These are like sleeves that you hold them in, and
They aren't just like sleeves; they are sleeves.
I mean, yeah, okay, they're sleeves. Anyway, as I'm looking at this card, I'm like thinking, oh, there's a lot of orange. So it's based on how much of that artwork is on the card. That's how much, like, that's what resource is dominating there. So you're
Mm-hmm.
putting your things on there, everybody else is putting there, and then sometimes you uncover the card. You're like, oh, I thought there's a lot of that energy resource, but actually not. And there's some bonuses that you can get, etc. So I really like this bidding on those stuff and then revealing the card and seeing how many resources you get. It's just so much fun. Yeah.
This is a good game at lower player counts. At a four player, I made the mistake of playing a 4-player game once, and it was a maddening experience.
I played
It
it
was a
2,
4-player game
and I
with
played
3
3
new
probably.
players.
Yeah. I think I played
And
I played a 3-player game and 2-player game only. So I like it 2-player.
2 is fantastic. 3's okay. 4, you really have to have people who know what they're doing, or else you might end up blind.
The thing with 2 players, if when you bid on those cloud cards, I think with 3 players it's more engaging. The cloud card thing mechanism, more people bidding on this thing. Anyway,
Maybe.
all right, let's get to the next game. A few more, and then we're done. My next one is area control game, which I really enjoyed, but I'm not a fan of area control games. There's another game that will be much higher on my list that I think is or like 2 of them, which higher on my list, which I think are much better games for me at least. But this one, I got it on Kickstarter, or pimped up, all plastic, everything plastic, just plastic all over the place, and that's 56 Rising Sun.
Ah.
Rising Sun is it's a minis on the board type of game, but what is going on here?
That does not look like Rising Sun. That looks like Ankh.
Why is Ankh doing? What is going on? Anyway,
someone using the Rising Sun figures in Ankh. That's amazing.
Anyway, so this one, so Rising Sun is area control game where you are battling for those different regions, trying to get the most points. It's a little bit of hero-y stuff, and you have those tiles or cards if you have I think cardboard tokens, something like that. If you have the usual version, if you have this deluxe version, you have those plastic domino or like the material is like domino or mahjong material type of tokens, or not tokens, what they are, cards, I don't know what they are. Anyway, and they have different actions in them. And if you choose an action, you as a leader will do its fullest, and then the other players can follow and do some other stuff. You can create alliances. Then you will, when you fight each other, there's that hidden mechanism of you are hiding behind your player board, putting the coins on different tactics or whatever they are, and you can just abandon the battlefield, or you can do seppuku or whatever else, or you can bribe, or you can break the alliance. I don't remember exactly, but all of those manipulations behind the screen plus manipulations on the screen, etc. And huge monsters. You are getting cards constantly. The cards are kind of upgrades, so you become very different. But this one is, with Rising Sun, you are already a little bit different, because with your clan you have a special ability. Yeah, it's just dudes in the map, but kind of Euro-y and different from usual. That's what I like
very
about
good.
it. Yeah, and huge monsters and cool theme.
I quite enjoy Rising Sun.
Okay.
I have all my figures.
Try lowering
painted.
it as well. What?
Well, I try lowering the box because it's very heavy. Mine, and I have a big fancy box for it, and my figures are all painted. I've definitely spent some money on Rising Sun.
Shocker. You money. Where did you get the money?
But well, I this is being recorded. I can't say
Okay, that's
on the
fine.
grounds that I might incriminate myself.
It's getting out of hand. Let's get to the next game. So my number 55 is a race game that I enjoy because the same as with this area control game, as with Rising Sun, I don't enjoy area control game, but when it has those Euro mechanisms and outwitting, outsmarting your opponents, and with this race game, dice manipulation, a little bit of drafting, it's very Euro-y. You're building up your engine basically, and that's steampunk rally and let's say fusion, yeah.
They're the
Because
same, but
they're the
yeah,
same. It's just fusion has fusion dice, which is quite enjoying.
sure.
Anyway, but this is a race game. Yeah, yeah. You're trying to get to the finish, but several people can get to the finish, and whoever gets further down the finish line, they will win. And now with this one, you are trying to build your machinery. You're drafting cards, you're putting them, then you draft dice as well, and cogs and whatever. You activate those machineries with your dice, trying to get some protection. If you go through the mountains, then your machinery will break down, or you're trying to speed up, or use the special golden speed symbol so you will avoid damage, or anything like that. So different stuff you can do to manipulate or get extra dice, and so on. So I really enjoy this building up your machinery, and the race is there, but it's not heat type, race that's very fast. This one is just more manipulation on your machinery than the race itself. The race is just how to track. Basically, instead of race, it could be just victory points that you're tracking the same. You know, and so I really enjoy that. The fusion dice, they are very powerful, but once you put them down, they cannot be removed. Those usual dice you can remove. You can what power them down or something. I don't remember
Yeah,
how it's
vent them.
vent them. Yeah, you can vent them, basically venting the machine so it's not overheated, so you can use those spots again. Yeah, but with fusion dice you cannot, but they're very powerful as well. Anyway, Steampunk Rally Fusion is my number 55. A great game.
Yeah, it's a good game. I enjoy it. I find some of the concepts can be difficult to teach to new players. I don't know
True.
why, but some pieces of some portions of the game just don't make intuitive sense to people. They make
Yeah.
sense to me, but so there can be a little bit of difficulty in learning the game. But I enjoy it once you get there.
The first time, for me at least, every time I played it with new players, and let's say we play a four-player game, it has been it has taken too long, just because if you play that, like, there's the rules that you can do simultaneously stuff
Hmm.
simultaneously, but the new players, they're like, what, where, how, and then you
Yeah.
do it turn by turn, and this game, instead of taking 2 hours, can take 4 hours, and it's just
Well, it shouldn't take 2 hours to begin with, but but yes, it can take much too long if you do things turn by turn, because it is supposed to be simultaneous, and maybe that's what it is. The venting is difficult for people to understand for some reason. The concept doesn't isn't
yeah,
immediately apparent.
yeah,
There's just some other pieces. All breaking down the machine is it can be a little
yeah. It's
sort
just
of
a
the
hard
ability to
shell, but
reorganize it. Yeah,
once you get through that, it's a really great game. Okay.
sure.
All right, so my number 54 is a worker placement game, which is great with the expansions. With one at least, but I would say both expansions. And I just like this game with without those expansions, I would probably not play it. 54 Champions of Midgard.
Very well.
Now, Champions of Midgard is a usual, worker placement game, but with the premise that you're Vikings and you are also collecting those dice. These are warriors, and you buy the ship, and then you send the ship to sail the far lands of full of monsters, and then you're trying to kill the monsters. And when you sail the ship, you put down. You have limited space on the ship. You put down warriors and provisions. And in the base game, how you defeat monsters, you roll the dice. If you get the right symbols, like the sword symbols, you can kill the monster if it hits all the hit points. And shields will protect your warriors. But if you're unlucky with the dice, then you're like, okay, so I built up for several turns, went on a ship, lost some warriors during the storm on a ship, and then went to kill the monster. And I was like one sword short from the monster, and then the monster killed all of my warriors. And because I rolled badly, that was infuriating at some point.
Oh, that's a sad one.
It's kind of fun, but some people was like, okay, so my several turns are for nothing. It felt kind of like that. But then expansion came in. If your warriors die, they first of all there are more dice, cooler dice, stronger dice, and if your warriors die, they go to Valhalla and become those tokens, and you can use those tokens to get some powerful abilities.
Mm-hmm.
Boom, you know, it's and the second expansion adds as a separate board, and you can get some extra dice from there as well. Some rangers, and remember, I think the green dice.
The green
etc.
dice
So
are from there. Mm-hmm.
yeah.
And
So
there's some
anyway,
more monsters there.
yeah, but I mean, like both of those expansions are not hard to implement into the base game,
Oh no.
and just play with them right away. If you want to buy this game, just buy it with the expansions right away. Just learn them all together and play it. Don't play the base game by itself, because you might, encounter this. Some people might encounter this problem of just being unlucky.
Well,
And
and that's a mindset thing, right? If you go into the game anticipating that that's a possibility, it's okay. But I do agree that the expansions add a lot. I have gone back to the base game after having played the expansions and sort of felt, something's missing here.
okay, yeah. Anyway, my number 54, Champions of Midgard.
Hmm.
My number 53 is a Euro game, a let's say quite quite a complex game, because there are so many moving parts and things you can do to manipulate, and they're all kind of interconnected.
Is
And
it Through the Ages?
no, everything takes place on the spaceship where we're asleep, and the robots do the thing for us. They're
Oh, I
automated
see.
bots that do the stuff for us.
Is it
So we can
Troyes?
almost. There's a
Troyes
little
in
mix
space.
of, yeah, Troyes in space. But yeah, number 53 is Black Angel. We're trying to find the new planet, and we basically are on this Black Angel ship, and we are traveling to find. Remember how it's called, the star,
Yeah.
whatever. And as you can see, there are a lot of parts. So there's the central part, which is put the dice there, and it's a worker placement. And with this worker placement, you can manipulate all the other stuff. But this your own board, where you can basically put down the tiles, which give you resources, and you activate them with the cards of the same color. And it's quite difficult to I don't know, to see first. Like, for example, if you put out the card and the die, and everything needs to be the same color as you do different manipulations on different boards. And there's that space board where you can send out astronomers and put the cards down there, etc. So it's not as easy as it seems. And I feel like those are like different mini games that you do. So the mini game here, the mini game on the main board, the mini game on the space, in the space, but everything works and it's fun. It's fun
Hmm.
manipulating all of those different aspects.
Okay. Great.
That's
Yeah,
pretty
I
much.
like this game. I mean, it's much more. So it was sort of hyped as a combination of two games, but it's definitely more Troyes than it is the other one, which was something like Solarium or something like that, where with sort of that moving board. I like it. I don't love the color scheme, but other than that, the game's
True.
good.
It's a little bit too neon. Like, okay, so
That's an aggressive color choice.
Yeah. Oh, my cat is going crazy. Okay, sorry.
Also, there's very little black in a game called Black Angel.
Yeah. Purple is the new black.
I see.
All right. So my number 52 is a cooperative game, which when I played it for the first time, and I think I played it. Did I play it with you in the board game camp?
I don't know because I
Probably.
don't know what game it is.
I'll tell you, it's Atlantis Rising, but it's a
You did
second
not play
edition.
that. I don't think you've ever played that game with me.
Okay, so I played with someone in board
I
game
hope
camp
so.
a long
Otherwise,
time
why is it
ago.
on the list?
No, not this one, but the old version. So I played
The
the
old
old
one that
version.
I did not like.
Yeah, so the old version, it was like it was cool. The idea of you basically uh, putting out the workers on those different spots, and if you are further towards the sea on the coastline, then you when you roll, you need to roll less
Right.
for the action to succeed. But the problem
Or if
is
you're not rolling, it's a stronger action.
a stronger action, yeah. But the problem is the stronger the action, the more higher probability that it will flood because it floods from the outside into inside. And you're trying to save yourself and basically create the machinery so you can fly to another planet or whatever as the island sinks. And the new edition just picks up from the old edition that did some stuff. It wasn't streamlined. It had some weird stuff going on. It just picks up from that, makes the game more like production wise more interesting and more beautiful, and
That's
then
good.
also kind of balances everything out, kind of in a sense streamlines it or makes it better. It just makes it better, and I like the whole idea of worker placement, and I like the idea of you having the special abilities and you building those machinery parts just works, and it's simultaneous as well. So we all put our workers at the same time. We
Yeah.
discuss. There's a lot of discussion. So I go here, you go here, I go here. It's just such an engaging experience.
Yeah. I played this last weekend. I mean, I hadn't played it in a while. I got it back out. Still a very solid game. Solid game. I will say the rule book is not the greatest. It is actually a difficult. Everything's sort of
For the new
on that
edition,
brown, the new edition. Yeah,
yes,
that
yeah, the
brown
rulebook is not good.
paper
No,
and the text on there, and things are kind of in random places. It is
yeah,
not a very good
true,
rule book.
true.
Um, in other news, I just got an address confirmation for the Kickstarter from long ago for its Monstrosities expansion. So
Oh,
that means that
nice.
should be coming soon.
Well, maybe I'll buy it uh, when
Well,
it comes out.
I'll play it first and tell you if it's any good.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Anyway, number 52, Atlantis Rising second edition. Now, the last game on this list today is another story game. And it has worker placement, which I enjoy. And I would only play it with the expansion because the expansion basically changes two worker spots on the board that makes them more engaging. My number 51 is Near and Far. Yeah,
Okay.
this is a uh, how do you say, evolution from Above and Below, for me at least. I do not in like I don't want to play Above and Below ever again after playing Near and Far. The only problem with Near and Far is a campaign game, but Near and Far is just so much better. Better stories, better connections between them, the worker placement, collecting the cards, sending out your crew, and then if you're out of your I remember the action points for life. I don't remember. Basically, you have to restock. You have to go back to the main board to do some
Right.
worker placement stuff. The Amber Mines expansion basically creates two spots instead of the old ones with the magic cards, and then with the cave or something like that. I mean,
Uh-huh.
mine. It's Amber Mines. It's Amber Mines.
Yeah.
But the old version is just you're putting the tent down. there. That's it. And you're scoring that. With Amber Mines, the tents that you put out, first you go into the cave or a mine to explore it, and then you put the tent out there. And it can be really interesting to just explore in the mine. But yeah, you are moving on the main board. You can see the cat here as well. You're moving on this main board, putting down the tents as well. So it's a Euro game. You're trying to score the most points, but you're encountering some of the storylines there, and you got stories. Some of the stories, they will tell you to write down a keyword, and then eventually, if you get to another part of that story, then the keyword might activate, and you do something extra. So the story itself is more engaging. I don't know, just the whole production, the whole world, near and far just feels like a complete game. Just a great complete game. Yeah, why it's not higher on my list is because really it's hard to get to the table. I need people to play it with me constantly. It has fallen they've fallen down the list because just it should not have been a like, I mean, you can probably play it separately, but it
You
feels like
can.
it needs to be a campaign game. And if
I
it
mean,
wouldn't be a campaign game, then I would be more up to it.
I've only played a campaign game of this one time. Whereas I've played a bunch of sort of one-off scenarios. Honestly, open up to a chapter, pretend you have the keyword if it comes up, and follow those stories. It's
Is it
it's
called
it's easy
cheating?
enough to do. No, it's just called playing a separate game, or you could not pretend you have the keyword. That's up to you if you want. It just depends whether you want to see where the story's going or not. But if each of the adventure, each of the stories, you have an opportunity to do something.
Yeah.
And then you can kind of see the new maps. I enjoyed the campaign I played, although it got a little long in the tooth there toward the end. The other thing about it, I like the Amber Mines expansion. I will say that. I enjoy many things about it, but it kind of feels like the designer was like, you're already having trouble fitting this game on the table, right? Well, here,
Let's put the mines
have
out so that
another
yeah.
sprawling game component that will take up more table space.
True that, yeah. But still, it's such a cool game. The Kickstarter edition had really cool pieces as well. It's just
Mm.
beautiful. I know that there's now the the gods,
Sleeping Gods.
Sleeping Gods, yeah, which people thought to be a better game. But yet again, Sleeping Gods is a long term campaign game. Yet again, that's why I haven't
Yeah.
not played Sleeping Gods, because just I have so many games I need to play, and just I cannot go into this game just playing a little bit.
Well, Sleeping Gods is it does sort of feel like it feels like an evolution of the story portion of this game, but very little else is the same.
Hmm.
So what you're doing in the two games is very different. But if you like the story, Sleeping Gods might be for you. I will, but it is a very lengthy experience.
And I also have not played Now or Never. I didn't
Well,
hear many great things about this one. I
I
felt like
enjoyed Now or Never a lot. Mine unfortunately got destroyed, and I don't didn't love it enough to buy it again. But I had a great time with Now or Never.
okay. Anyway, yeah, that's near and far. As I told you, I started with Harry Potter Hogwarts Battle and ended with Near and Far, which is a good game. It started
Very
weak,
well.
ended on a high note.
I'm
We'll
glad.
see what happens with the last 50 games. So soon we'll be able to go through another 50 games on my list, the top ones. And
That's how these work.
yeah, it's gonna be fun. I hope so. But thanks
We'll have
everyone
to
for
see.
watching, and
Yeah,
I think we'll
that
see you
sounds
soon.
good to me. All right. Bye
Yeah.
bye.
Bye bye.